Welcome back everyone to this Let's Play of Kerbal Space Program Release 1.0. Now you'll remember from the previous episode we had brought in the inflatable habitation module to join up with the command center that's here in the background. So the next thing we have to do is to dock these two vehicles together, and to do that we're going to have to drop away the two transfer stages that you see here on the bottom. So let's just do that here with the habitation module. So let's just reach in there if we can get in close enough and decouple that vehicle. Bit of a shock, but there we go. So we've detached ourselves from the habitation module. Now if we switch over using the bracket key to the command module, we'll do the same here for the command module. So let's just reach inside, grab hold and decouple. So we are now ready to mate our inflatable beds with the command center. So let's do that from the habitation module. Now you might remember from when we built this, and I don't know why I'm tilting my head, you can just about see this crew hatch here, this emergency crew hatch, is upside down. So we're going to turn that over, I think. So let's get the RCS on and just turn that over. It doesn't really make any difference. I mean, we're in space, for heaven's sakes. Hardly makes any difference, but we'll turn that over and get that set up vertical. And what I thought we should do is pop back over to the command center if we tab or bracket through to that, and just make sure that we are vertical. And if we switch the RCS on for this, oops, wrong way. Let's try just rotating this towards Kerbal so that we have plenty of sun on the panels, just so we have plenty of charge building up. So there we go. So that's vertical and facing Kerbal. So that should stay there quite happily. We'll just switch the RCS off and then bracket back over to our inflatable habitat module, or inflatable beds that we have here. Now, I've seen a lot of people using the docking port alignment tool. So I thought we should use it as well. So let's just control from here, because this is going to be our control point, and our target. A little trick with the target is if we go back over to stop rotating. Let's get the RCS back on. There we go. Stop rotating. There we go. What you can do is right-click the target docking port and then just bracket back to your target or your source vehicle, and that changes the menu, and you now have set as target. So we now have that docking port, the USI docking port, set as target. So we do have quite a way to go, so let's get cracking. We'll use the alternate keys to drive ourselves back and forth. So let's just bring ourselves below the level of our target docking port, which is the red lines you see here on the docking port alignment indicator. It does seem to be rotating quite a lot. We'll have to sort that out before we finish the docking. But let's get ourselves so that we are below the target docking port. And then we can start moving across, which I think, there we go, is the J key in this case. Yeah, J key, yeah. And H and N to set our vertical distance. And we can see the distance and velocity here, so we're almost below. There we go. So let's stop our vertical velocity. There we go. So we're practically nothing on the vertical velocity, but we are approaching pretty fast. So let's just slow down a little. In fact, I think we're going to slow right down go a little bit further below, and I think I'm just going to pop back over to the command center and see if I can stop this rotation. There, if I just leave the RCS on for a second, we'll leave that on and then we'll pop back over. There we go. It's not rotating as much, and you can see the rotation is set by this little marker here. So if we rotate the habitat module, wrong keys, let's rotate the habitat module. You can see we're bringing the habitat module round to, let's get the rotation round to 0, so our relative rotation is the same as the base station, the command module. There we go. So we're getting ourselves lined up here, all in the center. We get the orange marker lined up first. So let's get ourselves hands on the wrong keys. So we're going just away from it now, so let's bring ourselves back across. Whoops! Again, my fingers are on the wrong keys. I'm not used to using the alternate keys. I usually use docking mode, but for some reason that isn't working for me, so we'll have to fix that another time. So let us just bring ourselves back across. Oops, wrong way. So there we go, so let's just push that back. So we've got 49 meters to go. And we're now bringing ourselves underneath that target docking port. And we can now see that our planes are all beginning to align down here in the center, which is the axis, if you like, that runs down here from the target docking port. So I think it's about time we started slowing ourselves down. And lining ourselves back up. Now we're quite a way below now, so we just need to start bringing ourselves back up. So we've now got a positive velocity towards our target docking port. So let's just push ourselves towards that axis. Gently bringing ourselves underneath. Just rotate slightly. Oh, wrong way. Coming right underneath it now, so I think we can start bringing ourselves vertically upwards. Oops, wrong way again. There we go. Still need to bring ourselves a little bit across to the right. There we go. Everything beginning to line up. Oops, we're approaching a little bit fast, and we also need to bring ourselves across underneath. I actually think I've got the I think the rotation's 180 degrees round for my keys and I'm just going the wrong way. Oops, and I've done it again. So let's bring ourselves back round. And I have completely missed our target. Here we are, coming back towards it now. Nice and gentle. All this for some inflatable beds. I'm going to need more practice, obviously, but this is an excellent tool. It's certainly a lot easier to see where you are going, but until I get used to the alternative keys, and I think the magnetism's now taken over, and thump. So that was a bit of a thump. But yeah, these docking ports are certainly very, very strong with their magnetism. So you've really only got to get it, within 4 or 5 meters, and then thump. It comes together. Well, let's see if we can get ourselves lined up on the vertical again. So let's just bring us round so we are at least vertical. There we go. And we should still have some good sunlight against our panels. There we go. Now you'll notice we have some messages here. The blue ones are stage recover messages. So these are stages recovered from the launch of our habitat stage. So we've recovered various parts of the control center, another control center debris, and there's the habitat module debris, and finally we've satisfied our contract to build a new orbital station around Minmus. It had to have both the habitat module and the command module in order to get the right number of Kerbals available, or space for the right number of Kerbals, and we got 357,000 funds, 26 science, and 27 reputation. But we're not quite done. Let's hide the docking port alignment indicator. If we now right click on our habitation ring and we deploy it, we actually have some space for our Kerbals. So there we go. We now have our rotating habitat module, so we actually have somewhere for our various Kerbals to live. We have Bill and Valentina here already, which is a good start, but I think we need to bring up a few extra Kerbals and give them something to do. So I think that will be our next step. So I'll see you back in the VAB. Right, now I thought the next module we send up ought to at least have some function for self-sufficiency. So if we go to the colonisation section, we can send up the UKS aeroponics module. And if you read its description, you are tired of subsisting on stale snacks and coilant green, so grow your own food either via the newly improved greenhouse, which is what we will be doing, or with the fresh water and substrate via the cultivator module, kitchenette not included. You'll also see it requires at least one agricultural module to operate. So for an extra bit of challenge, let's place that there. Let's send up the agricultural module as a part of the same launch. So it's going to be quite a bit larger than the 2 launches we've done so far. So if we expand the agricultural module, a bit like we did with the habitation module, you can see how large this agricultural module actually is. So it is going to be quite sizable and quite heavy. Right. This is what we're setting up. This is our challenge. So let's just retract that now and get cracking with building the rest of this stage. So we'll begin with a couple of the OKS module caps just to get the full size of our vehicle in perspective. Now we will need some power, so I'm going to go to my electrical category I created and just add a couple of batteries, trying to keep it as symmetrical as possible. Then we will go to our utilities section and pick up a couple. Is it utilities? Science? I thought it was utilities. Somewhere in here we're looking for docking ports. So where did the docking ports go? Or are they under structural? I forget. No, they're not under structural. Not under aerodynamics. It's not under science. It must be under utility somewhere. So why can't I see them? So where we've got batteries are under there. Where are they? Structural. There's our hub adapters. We might be needing those later if we want to. I wonder if we can find them under. Is it quicker to find them under colonisation? Maybe that's where they are. There we go. Colonisation. Kerber Trail docking port under colonisation. So let's just put one of these on. But let's just double check it's on the right way round. No, it isn't. Ship this side. Thank you very much for telling me. So let's just pop that back on, and then let's pop back up to the top and do the same here. So again, you can see we are the right way around for this top item. Okay, so that's fine. Now next I think we need to fit our RCS thrusters to allow us to dock up. Now this is going to present a little bit of a challenge to us. So I think in this case, because we've got not a very even distribution of weight despite our attempts to keep this vehicle symmetrical. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to get some RCS fuel. We'll get some of these Stratus V roundified monopropellant tanks. And again, we're going to keep these as symmetrical as possible. So we're going to get 4 in there, and we'll put, too far. 4 in here, and then we'll use the offset tool just to push them in so they fit neatly inside that part of the frame. So we'll do it there, and we'll do it here. There we go, that looks fine. Next I think we need the thruster blocks, which are under control. There we go, the RV105 RCS thruster blocks, and we'll have again 4 of those. So 4 there, and then 4 at the base. Now, I don't think that is going to be very symmetrical in terms of RCS rotation. You can see we have quite a strong rotation around the centre of mass. We've also got quite a bit of a difference between the dry and wet centre of masses as well. Now we don't have any way really of raising or lowering the existing thruster blocks in order to make up for this rotation. The rotation is due to the fact that the thruster blocks aren't centered around the center of mass. So we're going to add a second set, or rather a third set of these thruster blocks, and we'll put them up here, and then we'll have a look up there under the torque setting, up there on the top right, and we'll position these so it's as small as possible. Oh, not quite in parallel or in line with the others. There we go. So that should be fine. So we've got 1, 2, 3 rows of RCS thruster blocks, and we might have to do some fine adjustments to those a little bit later. And the reason I've kept them sort of on this diagonal axis is because otherwise the ladder would get in the way of the thruster blocks would get in the way of the ladder, and then we'd have all kinds of trouble trying to get Jeb back into the airponics module if he ever left. Right, so we need ways of generating a little bit of power for our batteries. So we'll go with our Gigantor panels. Now, there is a nuclear reactor that comes with the USI parts pack, but we'll not send that up just yet. I think we'll make do with just electrical generation from panels. And you'll see we've now got a slight rotation back again, but we'll fix that. We'll fix that later. I think firstly we'll put on our main Gigantors, and then of course we'll have a look for our cannot do without OX stat photovoltaic panels, which we'll put 4 of those on here at the top, just so we have a permanent trickle of charge coming in. So that's looking good. So we have our thruster blocks, we have some electrical generation for our batteries, and we have some RCS fuel. We won't be taking any pilots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sneak a probe core into this top section. We'll use the same cheat as we used before. I'm going to put on a little probe core on there, and then I'm going to use the offset tool just to push it down there into the body of the battery. And then what we do is we just place the docking port over the top like so. So that gives us a little bit of control, because I don't particularly want to send up a crew with this particular part. So we're not going to send Jeb or Bob. They can go in another mission when we send up our next vehicle. I just really want to send up this module. So let's go back to parts and just double check we have everything in place. We still have a bit of a rotation there, so let's adjust for that. So let's just pick off these and then just reposition these until we get our torque right down. So it's actually going quite a way up now. There we go. Let's bring it down just a little bit more. There we go, 007. 007, Module 7, 007 kilonewtons of torque. Now I guess we ought to have some lights. Now we know we have our light up. I have our light up Kerbertrail docking ports, but I think I like to just put a couple of lights or illuminators around the edge of our. Here we go, around about the edge of our. Hatch, that's the word, hatch. Around the edge of our hatch. So let's just put one in there and then one opposite, and we'll do the same on the other side. So let's just squeeze that in like so. So there's 2 on that side, and we'll put another couple on. I'm just looking at them and I can't see them. Where they are? Yeah, there we go. Surface mounted lights. So we'll stick another one there, and finally we'll put one just there. Are they lined up? They're as good as lined up. So that just gives us some light for those 2 hatches. Yeah, must remember hatches. Right, now this is quite a large vessel. This is going to be quite large, and I'm not sure that our standard part, our standard launch vehicle is going to manage. But let's go to sub-assemblies anyway. I think we're looking for a sub-assembly that is ill, which obviously this one isn't. So let's pick this one out and slip it underneath there. It's already got a decoupler in there, and let's just raise this back up. Now this is going to be very, very tall. So let's just drop this back down on that engineer's head. Right, 4,000. It's actually not that bad. Clearly these modules aren't that heavy, so that's actually not that bad. But we haven't got the fairing on yet. So let's get the egg-shaped fairing. There we go, egg-shaped fairing, and slip that on the outside like so. There we go. So that's all enclosed down to 4.3, and that's in atmosphere, remember. So out of atmosphere, this will be considerably more. So you can see we're up to 5,000 if the whole thing was done outside the atmosphere, which it isn't. Obviously some of it is in the atmosphere. But actually I'm surprised, I am very much surprised that that is as good as it is. That is excellent. So this is the Agri monitor, module, get my words out. So this is the AG module Mark 1. The agriculture module Mark 1. Do you know what? I think we ought to give this a go. But having said that, I think we're going to end the episode here and leave you in suspense as to see if we can get this thing off the launch pad. So I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.